All right, it's trilogy time. TV. Play Star Wars Trilogy.
Okay, you are about to see something awesome.
And just know this, Han shot first.
It's a trap.
Baby Yoda, also rocking OG Yoda. Happy May the 4th, everyone. So glad you can be with us. And may the 4th be with you. All right, so the whole point of this video is to talk about the top books that I think you should make sure to have when you are raising your kids correctly with Star Wars. So first things first, you got to let them know the history. You got to let them know about everything going on in Star Wars. You got to let them know about the most important parts. And the most important parts of Star Wars are the ships. They are awesome. They are so cool. I don't know who thought up all of these different ideas, but honestly, George Lucas and your creative team you guys did a phenomenal job. So the first book that you got to pick up, number 3 on my list, is Star Wars, Starships, Speeders, and Space Stations. It's an awesome account of all the different speeders, space stations, starships, everything in a great order. Everything is well done. Really cool artwork in here. And it's a little golden book, so you can't go wrong. It explains everything. It talks about all the different generations of Star Wars. And gets into so much fun stuff. It even talks about the old school X-Wings and shows off some of the new school stuff as well. And the Star Killer base, First Order, even though I'm not a huge fan of those movies, you still got to represent everything going on because you never know what might be canon with Star Wars in the future. Number 2. And this is a really fun one, simply because it's an amazing read, and it also kind of teaches all about the different sides of the Jedi, the different sides of what's going on in Star Wars. And it's called Star Wars, I Am a Padawan. This book is absolute fire. They did a great job with this one. Again, another little golden book. This is just a really fun little book that kind of gets into what it means to be a Jedi, the different sides of being a Jedi, the friendships that are made, the Clone Wars it talks about briefly. It also gets into a little bit of the Sith, which is always fun and interesting to kind of see the different sides of the Jedi stories, and we follow Ahsoka through this one. So Ahsoka is an awesome character because not only is she a really awesome Jedi, but you can also get any girls that you have growing up right now into Star Wars with this amazing book. So again, Star Wars, I Am a Padawan. Last book, one of my favorites, is one of my favorite characters, two of my favorite characters, I should say, and it's actually a counting book. So this is a really great book for your kids in preschool, teaching them how to count and using Star Wars as a really cool way to teach them how to count. And it is called Obi-123. Star Wars Obi-123 Galactic Basic Edition. So it's just really fun. Obviously the artwork is really cool. And you got Obi-Wan and Chewie on the cover there. Really great. Very cool artwork, like I said. And you're counting from 1 all the way through 20. And then at the end you get to count all of them all over again. It's such a cool book. It's number 1 on my list. The best part about these books is a lot of them are very cheap to own. So like this book was $5, and Each of them were $5. So I mean, they're really awesome books. Now I'm going to throw in a bonus book there because this is actually a book that I'm going to read a story from to you guys. And this is called 5-Minute Star Wars Stories. And it's actually so amazing because it's the original trilogy. So as I said in the promo, the beginning of this, I pointed out that it's very important to watch the trilogy, the original trilogy, on May the 4th. And here's the reason. If you don't watch the trilogy at least once every 3 years, the Empire wins. And that's important. We don't want the Empire to win. So go back, rewatch that trilogy if you have not. And again, it's really fun because on May 4th, you can watch episode 4. On May 5th, you can watch episode 5. May 6th, you can watch episode 6. If you really want to start 1, 2, and 3, you can do that on May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then if you really want to do 7, 8, and 9, you can do 7, 8, and 9 on May 7th, 8th, and 9th. Pretty easy, right? So this is really cool. Like I said, it's a really fun book. And it looks like this. It's a bunch of 5-minute stories. If you read the whole thing, you've pretty much read the original trilogy in kid form. Again, just short snippets of different battles and things that go on. There are some Han Solo things. There's also some Rey stuff. There's some First Order stuff. Kylo Ren's in here. The Ewoks are in here. Just a bunch of different fun stuff. So again, sit back, relax, enjoy May the 4th as I read a fun book. One of my favorite battles of all time, one that I always go back to when I rewatch these, is the Battle of Hoth. The Battle of Hoth. Deep in the cold reaches of space, the ice planet Hoth orbited a pale sun. The surface of the planet was a frozen wasteland. Nobody lived there. At least, nobody was supposed to live there. And that made Hoth the perfect place for the Rebel Alliance to hide from the evil Empire. From the helm of the Imperial Star Destroyer, Darth Vader stared grimly out into space. He was looking everywhere for the Rebel Alliance. Vader sent hundreds of probe droids into space, seeking any sign of the rebels. Soon, the rebels noticed a droid snooping around their base on Hoth. Princess Leia hurried to the command center with Han Solo and his friend Chewbacca to discuss the droid. "Come on, Chewie," Han told his Wookiee co-pilot. "Let's check it out." The droid self-destructed before Han could capture it. But first, it sent a signal back to Darth Vader. The secret rebel base wasn't a secret anymore. "It's a good bet the Empire knows we're here," Han told Leia. Again, this artwork is phenomenal. Darth Vader wasted no time. His fleet left for the Hoth system right away. They didn't want to give the rebels a chance to escape. While Vader's Star Destroyer lay in wait in the sky above Hoth, 4 armored Imperial walkers began to make their way across the icy tundra toward the rebel base. Princess Leia ordered the evacuation of the base. Most of the rebels hurried onto transport ships and left immediately, but others remained on Hoth to stand and fight. They would protect the base until everyone else had escaped. Leia stayed with them. She didn't want to leave her troops alone. Han Solo stayed with Leia. He didn't want to leave her alone. Shock. Now, here we go. This is one of my favorite Star Wars ships of all time. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker climbed into a snowspeeder and led a squadron of fighter pilots out onto the plains of Hoth. They were going to try to fend off the monstrous Imperial walkers. Luke hoped to keep them far away from the base and far away from his friends Leia and Han. This is before he kisses his sister. Luke's squadron tried firing directly at the walkers, but it did no good. "That armor's too strong for blasters," Luke declared. So they used cables instead, tangling one of the walker's legs together. It worked. Luke ran underneath another walker. He fired a grappling hook into its belly and pulled himself up underneath it. Then he used his Jedi lightsaber to cut it open. Luke threw a grenade into the walker and dropped back to the ground. Boom! The walker flashed with green sparks and exploded. But even as Luke tried to keep the walkers away, the base was taking fire. The floor shook violently. Han and Leia could barely stand up. Then the alert came. Imperial troops have entered the base. Han grabbed Leia's hand. Come on, he said. That's it. It was time to go. Han and Leia ran to Han's ship, the Millennium Falcon. The golden droid C-3PO followed on their heels. Again, this is one of my absolute favorite battles because this is also one of my absolute favorite speeders. I think it's just such a sweet speeder. The snow speeders really are cool. I mean, especially for being from an era that they were from, just such an interesting design and so cool how they pulled that off. Darth Vader personally led his Imperial troops into the now empty Rebel base. As the troops searched for any signs of life, Chewie and Han tried to get the Millennium Falcon started. The engine revved, then choked. Steam billowed everywhere. Would it help if I got out and pushed? Leia said sarcastically. It might, snapped Han. One of my favorite scenes. Han and Chewie worked furiously to get the ship running. Leia scowled. They were going to be captured by the Empire unless they could get the Millennium Falcon's engine started. Just as Han and Chewie were making their final repairs, Darth Vader and a group of Imperial snowtroopers entered the hangar where the Millennium Falcon was docked. They opened fire on the ship. Han and Chewie fired back as the engine rumbled to life. See? Han said. Leia rolled her eyes. Someday, you're going to be wrong, Leia told Han as the ship leapt into the air and rocketed out of the base. And I just hope I'm there to see it. Darth Vader watched angrily as the ship escaped into the sky. I did always wonder why he didn't just use the Force to pull it back down. Luke Skywalker watched them go as well. He knew that the Millennium Falcon was the last ship to leave the base. Luke had done his job, and Han and Leia had gotten away. The Rebel Alliance was safe once again. So again, this is just another really awesome book. It's definitely a fun one. It even covers some of the prequels. Like it starts off with Race to the Finish Line, which is a story of Anakin doing pod racing, which was also a huge hit. Another one of my favorite speeders. Obviously not as good as the originals, but anyways, make sure to stay tuned. I know that there's a bunch of people going to be doing some really awesome May the 4th stuff. So, as always, thank you for lounging with us. And a very, very special Comics Lounge. May the 4th be with you. Again, have a great day.